code number 008 State Politics in India. Okay. So on this paper, I'm trying to cover Unit 1, Unit 2, Unit 3, and throughout this class session, I would be discussing the development of state politics in India, starting from 1950s till today, how the politics of India has evolved through the ages, and going back to its historical background, we can assess the political development of state with the historical background of independent movement that started particularly started following 1980 1958, that is following the Sipai mutiny. Okay. That was the historical background.
Excuse me, sir. Do you have any presentation?
Am I audible to everybody? ସମସ୍ତେ ଶୁଣି ପାରୁଛନ୍ତି କି?
हाँ सर, आपनकर କିଛି ପ୍ରେଜେଣ୍ଟ କରିବାର ଅଛି କି ସାର୍?
ଆଜ୍ଞା।
ତାହେଲେ ସେ ପ୍ରେଜେଣ୍ଟ ବଟନରେ କ୍ଲିକ୍ କଲେ ହେବ, ସେ ଦେଖାଯାଉନି ସମସ୍ତଙ୍କୁ। ଆପଣ ସେ ତଳେ ପ୍ରେଜେଣ୍ଟ ନାଉ ବଟନ ଅଛି, ପ୍ରେଜେଣ୍ଟ ନାଉ ବଟନଟାକୁ କ୍ଲିକ୍ କରନ୍ତୁ ରାଇଟ୍ ସାଇଡରେ।
ଆଜ୍ଞା ଆଜ୍ଞା, ହଁ ପାଇଲି।
ତାହେଲେ ହଁ, ତାପରେ ସେୟାର ହୋଲ୍ ସ୍କ୍ରିନ୍ ହୋଲ୍ ୱିଣ୍ଡୋ କରିଦେଲେ ହେବ ଆଉ।
ପ୍ରେଜେଣ୍ଟ ନାଉ,
ହଁ ପ୍ରେଜେଣ୍ଟ ନାଉ କ୍ଲିକ୍ କରନ୍ତୁ।
ହଁ, ତାପରେ ସାର୍ ଯଦି ମତେ ଗୋଟେ ଅଛି ଯୋଉଟା କି ପାୱାର ପଏଣ୍ଟ ପ୍ରେଜେଣ୍ଟେସନ।
ହଁ ଠିକ ଅଛି, ନାଇଁ ନାଇଁ ଶୁଣନ୍ତୁ, ପ୍ରେଜେଣ୍ଟ ନାଉ ବଟନ କ୍ଲିକ୍ କରିକି ତାପରେ ଆପଣ ଲେଖିବେ ଯେ ସେଥିରେ ଗୋଟେ ଅଛି ଅପସନ, ତିନିଟା ଅପସନ। ସେୟାର ହୋଲ୍ ସ୍କ୍ରିନ୍ ଅଛି, କଣ ଅପସନ ଅଛି?
ଏଣ୍ଟାୟାର ସ୍କ୍ରିନ୍,
ଏଣ୍ଟାୟାର ସ୍କ୍ରିନ୍ କ୍ଲିକ୍ କରନ୍ତୁ।
ଆଜ୍ଞା।
ଏଣ୍ଟାୟାର ସ୍କ୍ରିନ୍ କ୍ଲିକ୍ କଲା ପରେ ଆପଣ ସେୟାର କରି କ୍ଲିକ୍ କରିଦେବେ, ତାପରେ ଯାହା ଖୋଲିବେ ଆମକୁ ଏଠି ଦେଖାଯିବ। ଆପଣ ଦେଖନ୍ତୁ,
ଆଜ୍ଞା,
ଆପଣ ଯାହା ଖୋଲିବେ ଆମକୁ ଦେଖାଯିବ। ଆପଣ ଟ୍ରାଏ କରନ୍ତୁ।
ସେୟାର କରୁଛି।
ଆଜ୍ଞା। ସେ ରାଇଟ୍ ସାଇଡରେ ପ୍ରେଜେଣ୍ଟ ନାଉ ବଟନ ଅଛି, ଦେଖୁନାହାନ୍ତି।
ସେଟା ଦେଖିଲି ସାର୍। ଆଉ ସେୟାର ୟୁର ଏଣ୍ଟାୟାର ସ୍କ୍ରିନ୍ ଯୋଉ ଗୋଟେ ଆସିଲା ସେଥିରେ,
ନାଇଁ ନାଇଁ, ହଁ ଆପଣ ସେଟା କ୍ଲିକ୍ କରନ୍ତୁ।
ଆଜ୍ଞା,
ହଁ ସେୟାର ଏଣ୍ଟାୟାର ସ୍କ୍ରିନ୍ ଆସିଲା ତ, ତାପରେ କଣ ଆସୁଛି?
ସେୟାର ଆସୁଛି, ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ କ୍ୟାନସେଲ ଆସୁଛି ସାର୍।
ଆପଣ ସେୟାର ଲେଖନ୍ତୁ, ସେୟାର କ୍ଲିକ୍ କରନ୍ତୁ।
ସେଟା ସାର୍ କାଇଁ ନଉନି
ନାଇଁ
ସାର୍।
ହଁ ନବ ନା, ଆପଣ ସେୟାର କରିଦେଲେ ତ, ସେୟାର କ୍ଲିକ୍ କରନ୍ତୁ।
ହଁ ସାର୍, ସେ ଟ୍ରାଏ କରୁଛି, ଆଉ ଥରେ ଟ୍ରାଏ କରୁଛି, ଦେଖିବା କଣ ହଉଛି।
ସେୟାର ଡବଲ କ୍ଲିକ୍ କରିଦେଉନାହାନ୍ତି ନହେଲେ।
Present now, your entire screen. Yes. ବୋଧେ କିଛି ସାର୍ ଟେକ୍ନିକାଲ ଫଲ୍ଟ ଆସୁଛି।
ନାଇଁ ନାଇଁ ହବ, ନାଇଁ ଆପଣ କୋଉଥିରେ କରୁଛନ୍ତି? ଲାପଟପରେ କରୁଛନ୍ତି ତ?
ଆଜ୍ଞା ସାର୍।
ନାଇଁ ଆପଣ କୋଉଥିରେ କରୁଛନ୍ତି? ଲାପଟପରେ ନା ମୋବାଇଲରେ?
ଲାପଟପରେ।
ହଁ ଲାପଟପ ତ ନାଇଁ ହବ, ଆପଣ କରୁନାହାନ୍ତି, ମୁଁ କହିଦେଉଛି ଆପଣଙ୍କୁ, ମୁଁ କହିଦେବି ନା।
ସେ
ଆପଣ
ସେୟାର ଅପସନରେ
ହଁ
ରେସ୍ପନ୍ସ କରୁନି। ସେଟା ଗୋଟେ ଆସୁଛି କ୍ୟାନସେଲ, ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ ଆସୁଛି ସେୟାର ଅପସନ। ସେୟାର ଅପସନ ଟା
କ୍ଲିକ୍ କରନ୍ତୁ ସେୟାରରେ, ସେୟାରରେ କ୍ଲିକ୍ କରୁନାହାନ୍ତି।
ହଁ ସେଟା ରେସ୍ପଣ୍ଡ କରୁନି କାହିଁ?
ସେୟାର ରେସ୍ପଣ୍ଡ କରୁନି?
ନୋ ସାର୍।
ସେୟାର ଡବଲ କ୍ଲିକ୍ କଲେ?
नो।
ତାହେଲେ ସାର୍ ଗୋଟେ କାମ କରନ୍ତୁ, ଆପଣ ଏକ୍ଜିଟ୍ କରିକି ଆଉ ଥରେ ଜଏନ୍ କରନ୍ତୁ। ଏକ୍ଜିଟ୍ କରିକି ଆଉ ଥରେ ଜଏନ୍ କରନ୍ତୁ।
ଓକେ ସାର୍।
ଆପଣ ମଝି ଯୋଉ ଫୋନ ବଟନଟାକୁ କ୍ଲିକ୍ କରିକି ଏକ୍ଜିଟ୍ ହେଇଯାଆନ୍ତୁ। ଏବେ ସାର୍ ଟ୍ରାଏ କଲେ ଆପଣଙ୍କ ଅଡ଼ିଓ ବନ୍ଦ ଅଛି। ଅଡ଼ିଓଟା ଅନ୍ କରିଦିଅନ୍ତୁ ଲେଫ୍ଟ ସାଇଡ୍ ବଟନଟାକୁ। ଲେଫ୍ଟ ସାଇଡ୍ ଯେଉଁ ରେଡ୍ ବଟନଟା ଅଛି ଲେଫ୍ଟ ସାଇଡ୍ରେ ସେଟା ଥରେ କ୍ଲିକ୍ କଲେ ଅଡ଼ିଓ ଅନ୍ ହେଇଯିବ। ଆପଣ ଫଟୋ ଉପରେ କ୍ଲିକ୍ କଲେ ତଳକୁ ଗଲେ 3ଟା ବଟନ୍ ଦେଖାଯିବ, ରେଡ୍ ବଟନ୍ 3ଟା। ଫଟୋ ଉପରେ କ୍ଲିକ୍ କରନ୍ତୁ, ତାପରେ ରେଡ୍ ବଟନ୍ ତଳକୁ 3ଟା ଦେଖାଯିବ। ଆଗ ସାର୍ ଫଟୋ ଉପରେ କ୍ଲିକ୍ କରନ୍ତୁ, ଆପଣ ନିଜ ଫଟୋ ଉପରେ କ୍ଲିକ୍ କରନ୍ତୁ। ତାପରେ ଦେଖନ୍ତୁ ତଳକୁ 3ଟା ରେଡ୍ ବଟନ୍ ଥିବ। 3ଟା ରେଡ୍ ବଟନ୍ ଅଛି ନା, ଲେଫ୍ଟ ସାଇଡ୍ ବଟନ୍ ହେଉଛି ଅଡ଼ିଓ ଅନ୍ କରିବେ, ଆଉ କ୍ଲିକ୍ କଲେ ଅଡ଼ିଓ ଅନ୍ ହେଇଯିବ। ହଁ ହେଲା ସାର୍। ଅଡ଼ିଓଟା ଅନ୍
ଆଜ୍ଞା
କରନ୍ତୁ ସାର୍। ହଁ ହେଲା,
ସାର୍
ଅଡ଼ିଓ
ଆଜ୍ଞା
ଅନ୍
ସାର୍
ହେଲା। ହଁ ଏବେ ପ୍ରେଜେଣ୍ଟ ନା ବଟନରେ କ୍ଲିକ୍ କରନ୍ତୁ।
ଡନ୍ ସାର୍। Similar problem encountering.
ନାଇଁ ପ୍ରେଜେଣ୍ଟ ନା ବଟନ କ୍ଲିକ୍ କରିକି ଆପଣ ସେୟାର ହୋଲ୍ ସ୍କ୍ରିନ୍ କରୁନାହାନ୍ତି।
ହଁ ସାର୍ ଏଣ୍ଟାୟାର ସ୍କ୍ରିନ୍ କଲି, ଦେନ୍
ହଁ
ଆସିଲା ଗୋଟେ ଅପସନ୍ ଆସୁଛି ସେୟାର ଆଉ କ୍ୟାନସେଲ ଆସୁଛି, ଆଉ ସେ
ସେୟାର କ୍ୟାନସେଲ ଆଉ କଣ ଆସୁଛି?
ଦୁଇଟା ଅପସନ୍ ଆସୁଛି ସେଥିରେ।
ହଁ ସେୟାର କରନ୍ତୁ।
ସାର୍ ସେ ସେୟାରଟା ସେ କ୍ଲିକ୍ କରୁଛି ଯେ କିନ୍ତୁ ଦ୍ୟାଟ୍ ଇଜ ନଟ୍ ରେସ୍ପଣ୍ଡିଂ ସାର୍।
ସେୟାର କ୍ଲିକ୍ କଲେ ରେସ୍ପଣ୍ଡ ହଉନି।
No sir, no response. Any ଆଉ କଣ ସାର୍ କିଛି ଉପାୟ ଅଛି କି?
ହଁ ଆପଣ ଶୁଣନ୍ତୁ ସାର୍,
ଆଜ୍ଞା ସାର୍।
ପ୍ରେଜେଣ୍ଟ ନା ବଟନ କରିକି ସେୟାର ହୋଲ୍ ସ୍କ୍ରିନ୍ ନ କରିକି ସେୟାର ୱିଣ୍ଡୋ କଲେ।
ଓକେ। ସେୟାର ୱିଣ୍ଡୋ।
ପ୍ରେଜେଣ୍ଟରେ ୟୋର ଏଣ୍ଟାୟାର ସ୍କ୍ରିନ୍ ନ କରିକି ଏ ୱିଣ୍ଡୋ କଲେ ଦେଖି
ଆଜ୍ଞା
କଣ
ହଁ
ଆସୁଛି?
ଗୋଟେ ଆସିଲା ଗୋଟେ ସାର୍, ଆସିଲା ଗୋଟେ।
ଦେଖିଲେ ଯାହା ଆସିଲା ତାକୁ କ୍ଲିକ୍ କରନ୍ତୁ।
ହଁ ସାର୍ ଗୋଟେ ପାୱାର ପଏଣ୍ଟ ପ୍ରେଜେଣ୍ଟେସନ
ହଁ
ପକେଇଲି।
ପଦ୍ମନାଭ ନାୟକ ଯିବେନି। ହଁ କରନ୍ତୁ ହେଲା।
ଆଜ୍ଞା
ଓକେ
ହଁ
ସାର୍ ନାଓ। ହଁ ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ କରିପାରିବେ ଆପଣ। ଓକେ ସାର୍,
okay.
ନାଓ ୟୁ କ୍ୟାନ୍ କଣ୍ଟିନ୍ୟୁ। ଥ୍ୟାଙ୍କ ୟୁ।
Thank you sir, thank you for your help. Student, I think many of you have joined, and today I'm going to discuss the unit 1 of this paper, that is that in that paper that I'm going to discuss the framework for the analysis of state politics. Okay, जोटा कि अच्छा both bilingual या only English students ଆପଣ ମାନେ କୋଉ ଆଜ୍ଞା yes
Sir, most of the time you may use English or Hindi. Sometimes if you feel that there is some difficulty, then at some difficulty point, in case of a difficulty point, so we can explain in Odia also. But
okay
please try to keep importance on English and Hindi, because
okay
students from outside Odisha, they have also joined.
oh right, that was the great. Okay sir.
Yeah. So you may use Odia, but if you think that there is something difficulty so that they can understand, that's why you can explain in Odia also.
Okay, that's fine sir.
Okay.
So um, good, let's discuss uh, chapter 1 unit 1 units. Oh sir, this the um, unit 2 pop up. Okay.
ଯୋଉଟା ସାର୍ ଆପଣ ଭାବୁଛନ୍ତି ଟିକେ ସାର୍
Yes, sir.
ଯୋଉଗୁଡାକ ଯୋଉ ପଏଣ୍ଟରେ ଆପଣ ଭାବୁଛନ୍ତି ଟିକେ ପିଲାଙ୍କୁ ଟିକେ ଡିଫିକଲ୍ଟ ହେଇପାରେ ସେଟା ଟିକେ ଓଡିଆରେ ତାଙ୍କୁ ବୁଝେଇଦେବେ ଆଉ କିଛି ଅସୁବିଧା ନାହିଁ
Yes, sir.
ହେଲା
Okay,
ପିଲା
sir.
ବୁଝିବା ଦରକାର ଆଉ
Hmm. Right, sir.
ଆଜ୍ଞା
So, the unit one, unit one is the development of state politics in India. Okay. I think almost you all must have access to that the resources that is available in IGNOU site, and if you have downloaded that article, is you'd see that the entire chapter have been divided into six parts. Okay. The first introduction chapter, then state politics. Second is state politics, starting from 1950s to 1960s, and third unit is rise of regional forces and state politics in 1990s, 70s. Then fourth part that discuss the state politics the 1980 onwards, and then the summary. Finally, summary. Let's discuss this development of state politics in India. As you know, we for a long time we are under colonial rule. Mostly our country was most part of our country was under the colonial master, the British colony, the French, the Portuguese, and during this process, during this period, a new kind of political setup evolved in India. Okay, prior to that, that is the medieval period, the Mughal Empire and their role was quite completely different. But as of now, the political system as we are having in India, that it has its historical background from colonial role. Okay, and the state politics, following our independence from British colony in 1947, a new kind of political structure that was adopted by India um, with the introduction of a new constitution. Okay, you almost everybody our political system evolved. The current political system came about with the introduction of Indian constitution. Okay? The constitution framework
Kajal Raut, don't click on presenting. Kajal Raut, present button में click करो नहीं कहीं click करो तो present button में Kajal Raut, don't click on presenting. Stop presenting. ପିଲାମାନେ ଶୁଣା ଯାଉଛି କି ସାରଙ୍କର କୁହ ନୋ ସାର୍ ଠିକ ଅଛି ମୁଁ ସାରଙ୍କୁ କହୁଛି Yes,
Uh,
sir.
Welcome everybody once again. Sorry for
Uh,
disruption.
Presentation button da?
I guess.
Yes, sir. Present button we can again. Mita, all are requested to mute their video. Mita
Again, sir.
Pujari, please mute your video. Mita Pujari, please mute your video. Yes, sir. Now it's okay.
Sir, am I visible, sir?
It's okay now, sir. You can continue.
Okay. Sir, 20% complex. Actually, that is as well, sir. Again, Madhusan, can you hear me, sir? Now, am I audible to everybody?
Yes, sir. Audible, audible.
Sir, can you hear me, sir?
Sir, audible, sir.
Yes, sir. Okay, fine. So, the state politics, following 1950, I was discussing the evolution of state politics in India. The state politics that are the framework state politics came about with the introduction of the Constitution of India. According to the Constitution, you have a dual set of government. You have a parliamentary democracy where parliament make rule and regulation for an entire nation. At the same time, at the state level, uh, we have a state government who um, make state specific law, and apart from that, we have also a third set of union territories where um, you know uh, state center also exercises exclusive uh, administrative authority in the state in those areas. Okay. Apart from that, we have also at the local level we have local self governments like in Panchayat Raj system and as well as in urban local bodies. Okay. So these are the development. These are the development which India experienced, the political development of India expressed following the introduction of its constitution. The thing is that the most important thing is that you know from the very beginning, though it was there was only one political party or one political forces that remain helm in the affair, that was the Congress, Indian National Congress. Okay, because of its history, contribution to the freedom of India, it remained for a particular till 1960 late 60s it remained in power almost uh, regularly to remain in center power in center and most of the states. Okay. Following that, what happened? The regional, some of the regional forces, political forces, they appear in the scene of national politics. Particularly, you would see the left organization, left political fronts. They came up, particularly in West Bengal, in South India, and Kerala. Uh, Apart from that, you would see by 1970s, countering to Congress dominance and challenging the arbitrary rule of Indira Gandhi. There came um, other other political forces, the Janata Dal, etc., they came into forefront. Okay, and mostly, mostly in those period, these regional forces they became challenge to the center or central rule, and which happens to be under the Congress. Okay. So so that till 1970s it was predominantly Congress everywhere, Congress dominance everywhere. But following that, what happened? Not so many regional parties emerged. Looking into the emergence of regional parties, we see the many of the in many cases Congress was not that much uh, successful addressing the regional aspiration. First, second, the aspiration of the many of its leader who happens to be part of the Congress, and since they could not find a better place in the party, they they uh, they they form their own political front to seek their political ambition. In many cases, in particularly you would see in case of Odisha, the Biju Patnaik, and in North India you would see many of the leaders like um, mm, Mulayam Singh, Lalu Yadav, and so many so forth, so many leaders. They challenge the Congress dominance in their respective state, and they came to power based on their own socio-cultural identity. From the very beginning, it was it was uh, it was the national movement or the nationalism was the bounding force of the entire Indian community, and to which capitalized the Congress party, uh, to which Congress party capitalized to remain in power. But following 1970s, the regional aspiration.
Yeah. Excuse me, sir.
Yes, sir.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, sir.
Excuse me, sir. ସାର୍ ଏ ଯୋଉ ସ୍ଲାଇଡର ଫାର୍ଷ୍ଟ ପେଜରେ ଖାଲି ଅଛି, ସେକେଣ୍ଡ ପେଜକୁ ଆପଣ ସ୍କ୍ରୋଲ ଆଉଟ୍ କରିନାହାନ୍ତି ବୋଧେ?
Okay, sir. ସେଇଟା ହଉଛି sir
ଆପଣ ସେକେଣ୍ଡ ପେଜରେ କ୍ଲିକ୍ କଲେ ସେକେଣ୍ଡ ପେଜ ଦେଖାଯିବ। ଯୋଉ ପେଜ କ୍ଲିକ୍ କରିବେ ସେ ପେଜ ଦେଖାଯିବ ନା।
ଆଜ୍ଞା
ଆପଣ
sir.
ସେକେଣ୍ଡ ପେଜରେ କ୍ଲିକ୍ କରୁନାହାନ୍ତି, ସେକେଣ୍ଡ ପେଜ ଦେଖାଯିବ।
Okay, sir. I am discussing the first unit of this.
Then it's okay.
Okay, I'll move to second unit further.
Oh, okay, sir. Then it's okay. I thought that only one page you are continuing.
No,
Okay.
no, no, sir. I'm
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
now
Okay,
I'm
sir.
focusing on the first unit of this topic. Then I'll move to second. When I will move to second unit, then I will present I prepared that PowerPoint presentation that I will be
Okay, sir.
sharing with everybody. Okay,
Okay,
sir.
sir. Thank you.
So the rise of regional forces and state politics in 1970s. Okay, so rise of regional forces. You see, many of the state have in many of the states there emerged so many regional political parties. Okay, and how it emerged? Because they emerged uh, to seek the local to address the local concern. Okay, and sometimes Congress or any political party they are most concerned regarding the larger states. okay, where they have major chunk of support base. Okay, in that scenario, you would see the many of the smaller states like uh, the peripheral states like northeastern states like Odisha and many of the South Indian southern states, they could not get proper attention from the center. And on the other hand, also because of the economic development which came through the introduction of green revolution in northern India, so there emerged many social many community who came into the dominance, such as Jat in Punjab and Haryana, and in Uttar Pradesh Yadavs. Okay, because of their economic prosperity, they started to join in politics, and they become part and parcel of the politics. In fact, okay, they are like Jai Prakash, Narayan, and its follower later on. Uh, they fought their politics on the basis of their uh, uh, identity, caste identity. Okay, particularly they tap the support base of the agrarian community who have prosperous because of this green revolution. Okay. So, um, in order to address their concern, there many of the political parties such as Samajwadi Party and um, uh, and even even in the states like Punjab and Jammu and Kashmir and some southern states, there emerged some of the political parties based on religion. You know, as of now, the largest national party in India, that is BJP. Okay, it has it has uh, a specific community. Okay, it has specific community a specific community who vote for them. Okay, similarly we in Punjab you have Akali Dal, their support basis, the follower of Sikhism. These are the some of the example how the political scenario came into, how political scenario experience new changes. Okay,
Sir,
again,
the
sir.
slides are again not visible.
Okay, sir. All right, sir. For the unit one, I'm continuing unit one. I missed the slide uh, that I wanted to share. For unit two, I will share the slide, sir. Okay, sir. For unit two, I will. Okay. Okay, so very soon I'm going to conclude the unit one, then I'll move to unit two, sir. Yes, sir. Okay. So, apart from that, the class interest and the communist interest, um, there emerged some of the political front. They wanted separate political identity, uh, separate political identity out of India, such as in many political front, Jammu Kashmir Liberation Front in in the state of Jammu and Kashmir, and in Assam and Manipur in northeastern states, in Ulfa-like organization, um, they came into forefront and they fought political movement in order to secede from India and to seek their independent political future. So this is how the state politics came in, experienced a major transformation following 1990 1980 on 1980s. Okay, and Um, when when in the earlier time it was the strong center was or center decide everything, and the ruling party, like it is a predominantly congress system, as Rajni Kochari described. Okay, so everything was every policy was depend on the center. Policy formation was dependent on the center decision. But now, the because of the emergence of regional political parties, and because of this we have a multi-party system. Okay, so no party um, is in a position to fight election in single-handedly, and claim power in center. However, aberration is that in the present BJP government, they came with absolute majority. Despite that, it has uh, so many um, alliance partners. Okay, so as the major ruling parties, they form alliance to come into power. So the arbitrary decision making authority of the parliament has reduced in a significant way. Now, the national parties, being a leader of the ruling government, they are bound by the common minimum program which they set under the by collective decision. So no, now under this situation, so no party, no uh, uh, our national politics has experienced the real federal uh, quality, the federal features of the um, uh, quality. Now, let's move to unit 2. That is the unit 2, that is framework for analysis. Okay, in this chapter we'll discussing the various frameworks, with the help of various framework, how our politics in India is described. Okay, to do that, I'm sharing one of the um, okay. uh, can you see the PowerPoint presentation, sir? Can you see PowerPoint presentation, sir? Okay, thank you. So okay. Okay, state politics in India. That is in this chapter, I'm going to discuss the various framework. Um, with those help, we would be discussing the state politics in India. So the first slide is that uh, that states the framework framework. Okay, you all know how a political system works. Okay? uh, there is demand, and it's a kind of demand and supply relationship between um, the unit of the polity. Okay, so uh, the okay, framework, which is also known as structural functional framework, or modernization or developmental framework. In this heading, you would be you would see how our polity, Indian polity, is shaped and how it works. So unlike the earlier type of earlier um, political system, we have a democratic set of uh, government. Constitutional framework we run our countries. Okay, and this is completely this is a modern phenomena which we borrowed. This is a kind of parliamentary form of democracy we borrowed from many part of the world, particularly as you know, the parliamentary democracy uh, is we borrowed it the British from the British Constitution. Okay, so Parliament is here supreme. Okay, Parliament being supreme, it it look after lawmaking and also it ensure the laws are implemented through its executive authorities. Then um, here in the head of structural functional framework, um, uh, everything is predetermined according uh, predetermined, and there is how one has to come into power and what would be the authority. Everything is clearly mentioned, clearly set by the uh, system, constitutional system. Yeah, and uh, but uh, you know as you see, as you focus on the Indian system, you would see how election are fought, how government are formed, and the power and function of the government, and the rule of citizen in a rule of citizen in the government formation. Everything, uh, you know, y- this has been this has been established by the constitution or some legal framework. Okay. Next, next is the Marxian framework. Okay, Marxian framework that states about uh, okay. Just adding some more information to systemic framework. I want to mention that this framework deal with the of modern aspect of the political life, that is role of political parties, leadership, election, pressure group, elites, institutional structure, function, and their interrelationship, etc. And that was the modern aspect. But along with this modern aspect, you would see how some of the um, traditional thing has also come up into our political field, such as you would see the rule of caste, religion, region, um, community interest, that is also playing significant role in our electoral process. And no political party can undermine the um, you know uh, the aspiration of the communities with those help they came into power. The okay, next moving to Marxian framework. Okay. Um, the Marxian framework analyzes politics in terms of class relation, and production and forces of production. Okay. Uh, Here, the Marxian framework considers politics as a reflection of class relation, and it also the and it says the politics is determined by the economic relation in a society. Next, it also the Marxian framework also states that states are representative of the class interest, particular class interest. As you know, the uh, the communist ideology they established that there's two set of two set of people in a society. That is, one is the production class, and who the second who happens to be the supporting class for the production, the bourgeois and the proletariat. Okay, and here the Marxian framework, the states that it represents the political system represent the interest of the dominant, the elite class. Okay, or the upper class in the society. And in international level you see in international, apart from the national or in international level, it also serve the interest of the larger capitalist countries. Okay, the international institution such as IMF, WTO, all these serve the interest of the larger dominant uh, industrialized countries. Okay, and you know how as you have studied the center periphery relations. Okay, the concept of underdeveloped, where you must have studied how the almost the international economic structure is like that. Okay, almost all the small countries they serve the interest of the larger capitalistic countries, such as United States of America and Western European countries, Japan or Australia, like those countries. Okay, so it is a kind of situation where everybody is some directly or indirectly working to serve the interest of the dominant countries in the world. The apart from the they are emerged in the second part of 19 and second part of 20th century. There emerged another form of mm, another form of another that is called new Marxian framework. Okay, um, this new Marxist, the new Marxist, well, the Marxian framework, the Marxian or the classical Marxian framework focused on the classical relations, which is based on production and distribution. This new Marxian framework, it focuses on non-economic factor, non-economic factors such as culture, consciousness, etc. You know, always class relation is not based on economic only. In many cases, okay, people are also um, keen to seek their interest, and people are keen to promote their cultural identity and to promote their communal interest, which has been mostly ignored by the classical um, Marxian framework. Okay, the new Marxist framework. This can be seen. This can be seen how um, people people are promoting, how people are focusing on their local concerns. Okay, when earlier time, you all know, earlier time it was the development agenda was the main concern. Okay, economic prosperity, industrialization, etc., etc. But now, in many cases, people adapted to the sustainable development. Okay, apart from the economic development, they want to address their immediate um, immediate cultural interest, their ecological interest, and so many things. Okay, which has been ignored earlier time. Moving to next, the postmodernist framework. Uh, Several political and economic and social changes have occurred in India. These and these changes are because of the forces, uh, because of the outside forces. Okay, you must you almost you must have heard about the influence, widespread impact of globalization. Okay, globalization has penetrated every aspect of our life. Okay, our thinking process, our decision making, our food, starting from our food habit to our livelihood, everything. Okay, similarly, when it comes to politics or decision making process, or to seek to consolidate identity. Okay, it helps immensely to form political identity first. Second, it also the process of globalization also help to to form opinion, and also it helps to promote this opinion to good, this opinion, which the opinion which can be uh, transformed into action through policy formulations. Okay, the policy formulation, which is the domain of the legislature. Okay, the legislature or the politics or the politician, um, they cannot overlook the interest of the community. Okay, these are the some of the new transformation you would see in our political system. The postmodernist framework. Okay, okay. The earlier time, it was believed that the modernist or the communist framework are the only dominant uh, uh, forces which shape and reshape the politics of our states. But uh, starting from 1990s, you see the postmodernist framework came into prominence, uh, um, as I mentioned, the postmodernist framework focused on the autonomy of the smaller groups and protection of the group identities, indigenous knowledge and system. The postmodernist this being this modernist framework finds an alternative to modernist in the tradition, sustainable development, indigenous knowledge. Okay. As you know, in many cases, knowledge is not the only what we know, the modern knowledge, okay, uh, which has been mm, given by Western ideas, okay, in or the Western way of thinking or the Western innovation has no all-round solution to every problem. Okay, so in many cases, in order to solve the local issues, it required required uh, uh, the local solution. Okay, supposing supposing the need of the introduction of the three-tier panchayat raj system in India. Okay, you know the rationale behind the introduction of this three-tier um, political three-tier panchayat raj system in India was that to address the local concern at local level. Okay, you know how our gram panchayat, that took active role in the decision making process, starting from gram panchayat and the intermediary panchayat block at the level of block and the jilla panchayat. Okay, um, this these institutions have great impact in the uh, transformation transformation process in our country. Okay. Similarly, in order to address the concern of the urban areas, okay, we have also urban local bodies. Okay, so uh, these are the uh, uh, major development. You can say these are some of the issue, some of the development which intended to find alternative solution to address the local issues. Then next moving to federation building framework. In case of India, you see we have 28 states and union territories apart from central government. Okay, and in many part of India, we have some autonomous region, particularly in the tribal areas, particularly in the state of in the northeastern states. Okay, where there are so many uh, tribal areas where the general rule or regulation is less likely to be implemented. In order to look after the concern of the local communities, there are district councils which are represented by the local community, tribal community. They look after the interest of these communities. Similarly, um, in there are uh, you would see how uh, states, small states, okay, mostly the border states, okay, like state of Jammu Kashmir and Bihar and even sometimes in Odisha, they demand autonomy from states, okay, and first thing or they demand autonomy, and the second thing they demand special consideration or special focus from the center, okay, and these are these are the rationale behind this special demand from the center is that to uh, it's a kind of sort of demanding autonomy, demanding special relief from the center to carry out their decision making, carry out their administration in an efficient way, without the unnecessary hindrance of the states. Yeah. you know do we have uh, you almost everybody you have studied that India is a union of states, okay, uh, but we have federal features, okay. The Do we have a federal set of government? Still we have a strong center, and even the strong in the constitutional provision also empower the state um, to take action, okay, in case of in case any normal abnormal situations, okay. The I would mention the role of governor, okay. What is the role of governor and who appoint? It is appointed by the center, okay. Many of the political scientists, they term the office of the governor as a retired whom for the politicians, okay, and they unnecessarily create trouble to the state government, okay, which is against the federal federal features of any um, government. You would know um, now. Um, the federal federation building framework, it address how um, uh, so many states have demanded autonomy from center, and also uh, there are more demand for the formation of new state under the purview of our constitutions, okay. you know in many cases in many cases you see you see uh, compared to 1950s 70s, okay, now new state came into prominence, such as recently the state of Telangana, uh, and um, uh, prior to that, okay, the other state was formed. There was Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, and Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, Telangana, um, and um, and another. There are so many demands to to um, um, form a new state in Maharashtra. Like there is a popular demand to create a Vidarbha state. Okay, similarly in Uttar Pradesh, there is also demand for uh, bifurcation or trifurcation of the state. Into there is a demand to divide the state into three three part. Okay, um, so these are the new development you would see that has emerged, okay, in our Indian political system. Okay. Then next move to uh, social capital framework. Okay. In this, you see, you see the cause of tension in our society. Okay, there are so many tension in our society. Okay, we have a diverse society. We have a diverse, diversity in the sense of culture, tradition, religion, caste, even the topography is also from the point of view of our topography. Okay, some are hilly people, some are the plain people, and these create social tension. Okay, intolerance, this create intolerance. Okay, sometimes the mainland and the peripheral states. Okay, there is a intense competition or intense kind of stereotype feelings, okay, towards each others. Okay, sometimes North Indian, they consider or they look down upon the South Indian, and the vice versa. Okay, and the North Indian consider because of their proximity to the center and because of their stronger hold in politics. Okay, um, uh, they take advantage of this the institution, etc. They undermine the interest of the southern people. Similarly, the other uh, the dividing forces is that of backwardness and development. Okay, some of the states are developed while some other states are backwards. Okay, and because of their contribution, the developed states, because of their major financial contribution or revenue contribution to the state, they demand better package from the center, and those states who are not that much so well off, they are, you know, their interest is also sometimes neglected. Okay, so under these circumstances, there is a possibility of um, social cleavage in our society. Okay, and you know uh, apart from even within a particular society or particular political unity, you would see how people are, they're fighting in the name of religion, caste, and so many so forth. Okay, in order to cement the bonding between the diverse community, the diverse caste, into a single thread, so that our national integration could be succeed. Okay, become successful. So we need to have understanding towards each other. Okay, we have to be very much accommodative, very much responsive to the interest of the other. Okay, it may be of different caste or it may be of different religion. Okay, when it is we look after the interest of other community, other religion. Okay, we build up a good rapport among the community, and this leads to stronger nation building, and this and it also there is less likely to be any communal class or any conflict. So, India being a diverse nation, India being a diverse nation, it is essential to develop shared values. Shared values. Why we develop shared values? Because the shared values helps us to resolve differences of opinion and to cement our social cohesion, and to uh, which is most essential for the success of a democracy. Okay, we cannot we cannot have a successful democracy when there is social tension, when there is a class of interest between the communities. Uh, okay, so in order to overcome these obstacles, in order to overcome these challenges of diverseness and mistrust among the communities, we have to follow um, some principle or some policies which would um, which would strengthen our national identity. Okay, you all studied um, or you all know India is a the preamble of the constitution states that India is a secular country. Okay, secular countries, that means no state has no religion. That means state cannot discriminate one religion against uh, another. Okay, we state cannot do a specific favor to a particular religion. Okay, however, state can make a specific rule and regulation for the smooth functioning or the smooth administration of the religious institution. That is different aspect, the different thing. But state cannot favor a particular religion or a particular community. Our neighboring countries, particularly in Bangladesh or Pakistan, they have their religions. Okay, particularly in case of Pakistan, the Islam is the state religion. Okay, but in case of India, that is not the case. Okay, here all the religion, major religion like in Hinduism, or maybe Parsi, like minor, very minor religious group, they are equal in the eyes of law. Okay, there is no discrimination. So the rationale behind the this providing a equal level field to all the religion is to create a atmosphere where all the religion can conduct their activities, and at the same time they strengthen the community. At the same time, they also uh, give strength to the Indian Union. Next, move to Unit 3, the nature of Indian diversities and nationalist response. Okay, so when we think of India, you know, in many scholar, the term India or Indian nationalism as a imagined communities. Okay, um, the idea of nation. Okay, um, what is nationalism? Okay, the nationalism, people having the sense of fellow feelings among the people who believe the descendant of common ancestor, having common historical background, and having common um, region where they used to live for centuries. Okay, but in case of India, we are we are we have uh, so many religious communities. We have even we have if you see if you go to market, you would see um, uh, people of different shape, different physical features, different skin color, and speaking different language, and having different food items. Okay, so there are so many diversities in India. Okay, and we have um, though we have a majority of the people are follower of Hinduism, still we have the other religious communities. Okay, they can freely participate, or they can freely propagate their religion without any kind of hindrances. Okay, with those diversities, which um, with those diversities, uh, building a nation was not a easy task. Okay, it was not an easy task. Okay, um, you know, before 1947, okay, India got independence 15 August 1950, 1947. Before that, our the entire India was politically, politically we are divided. Okay, we're a divided nation by then. Okay, there are uh, areas under different colonies, colonial master. There are areas under the princely states, and so many so forth. Okay, as India got independent, and the entire area come into form the Union of India. Okay, apart from the separation of Pakistan from India, or division of India, the based on common religion, is a um, bad thing that happened to the India. However, that is unavoidable under the persisting situation by them. Okay, so despite having so many diversities in the sense of ethnicity, topography, climate, and sociocultural diversities, the entire nation came into a single fold that to form the Union of India. Okay, through but in order to in the path of achieving this national unity. Okay, so many of the diversities that we have in our nation, in our country, that was addressed by our leaders before India attained its independence, and in the post-independent period as well. Okay, as you know, the idea of India, or the name India, is not native to us. Okay, it was developed, or it was given to us by foreigner. Mostly, the Hindi term, the Hindustan, okay, that comes that comes from uh, the river Indus. Okay, the territory beyond river Indus, that was called that is called Hindustan. Okay, the popularly the Arab, or the people from the Middle Eastern area, they term this area the territory beyond river Indus is Hindustan, and later on the term India was derived from the term in Indus. Okay. So that was the thing. But yet India prepared in Indian fought for their independence. Indian fought for their independence. There came so many challenges. Challenges like that. First thing is that um, as India would become independent, it would serve whose interest? Okay, is it going to serve the interest of a particular community, or particular class, or a particular caste group? Okay, so predominantly Congress was before 1947. Predominantly Congress was dominated by the higher caste groups. Okay, And the uh, following the formation of the Indian Muslim League, okay, there was a clear division in Indian society on the basis of religion uh, under the leadership of Muhammad Ali Jinnah. They wanted a separate political unity for the protection or for the interest of Muslim community. Okay, and similarly, many of the Hindu fronts, many of the Hindu leaders, okay, they wanted to protect the interest of the Hindu community. At this juncture, there are also, Hindu community is not a homogeneous community. Okay, we have thousands of class, thousands of caste. Okay, caste system is prevalent even today. Okay, caste is everything for some people. Okay, for the in the name of caste, they go to any extent. Okay, similar situation also was realized by many of the subaltern groups or the backward groups in India when India was when the Indian independent movement was going on. Okay, particularly the role of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar um, and Peria cannot be undermined. Okay, they they are very much vocal about to to address the concern of the caste-based discrimination that India have through centuries. Okay, particularly the interest of the backward communities. Okay, and who happens to be who happens to be the untouchable by then. Okay, even all still untouchable in pocket are practiced in rural India. Um, However, that has been practicing untouchable has been um, made into a punishable offense. Okay, that has been bad. Okay, article article 17 of the Constitution that abolish the practice of untouchability. Okay, but that was the that was the fact. That was the fact. Okay, and in the in this issue in this issue the caste system, which is very diverse in nature. Okay, which mm, it being a diverse in nature, it also um, gives diverse ideas to the nationalist or the leader of that period, or leader of um, pre-independent period, notably the Gandhis. Gandhi's idea on caste system and untouchability is a notable one, where Gandhi Gandhi being a follower, Gandhi is a votary of strong believer or strong follower of caste system uh, on the premise that caste system is uh, uh, caste system provides livelihood, and caste system provides livelihood, like caste system is linked with some of the activities. Supposing um, the traditional traditional activities. Okay, some of the particular caste, like that calls blacksmith. Okay, blacksmith, they do in some activities which is essential for the community interest, and it also provides secure livelihood. Similarly, some of the future the community who are involved in making pot making, okay, or pottery. Okay, although there might be some communities who are involved in the cultivations. Okay, so the idea of self-sustained village, the self-sustained village and the caste system, okay, that was matching. Okay, uh, Gandhi was in favor of caste system. First thing, considering it has a historical linkages, and secondly, it also ensure livelihood, and thirdly, it also make a village sustainable. Okay, because of these things, caste system is it's a good thing, but the notion of the practicing of the untouchability, uh, or uh, or looking down upon some of the caste communities in our society, that was not okay by the Gandhiji. In order to placate the situation, in order to improve the condition of those communities, okay, through his writing and through his action, okay, Gandhiji um, um, asked its follower to work for the development of the so-called backwards, or the development of the um, untouchables. So other leaders, other leader, as you know, Ambedkar, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, in order to protect the interest of the untouchable. Now you may call them, many sociologists they call them Dalits. Okay, he demanded separate electorate. That means separate representation, caste-based representation in which was um, opposed by Gandhi and many of the higher caste Hindu by then. Okay, you must have heard about the Pune Pact of 1932 under the Pune Pact, the agreement between uh, um, uh, Ambedkar and the representative Gandhi, which concluded uh, that the Ambedkar would give up its demand to have special representation or the caste-based representation in the legislature. Okay, so that uh, that was a story. Like the Ambedkar was more keen to give voice to the um, the unheard voice of India then, and similarly, um, many of the um, resultantly, what happened following the Pune fact, there was also and there also um, acknowledge the prevalent the result of the Pune Pact acknowledge that the prevalence of caste-based discrimination in Indian society is prevalent, and in order to eradicate this problem, the nationalist leader like the Gandhi or it may be Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, they ensure that such evil practice do not go on as a regular basis. Okay. So later on you see as India got independence, some of the constitutional provision were made to improve the condition of the scheduled caste, scheduled tribe and OBCs. And now there is also reservation is also given to the economical backward people in our society. And in order to abolish the practice of untouchability, and under the constitution, under article 17 of the constitution, it is entirely abolished, and it has been made into a punishable offense. Now, so these are the diversities. Okay, as the other diversities you would find uh, ap- um, okay, moving to that the language and language and language homogeneity or plurality, you see, we have a more where one particular of the people in India they speak in Hindi. Apart from Hindi, we have English is another language as a mode of communication. Okay, and there are 22 other languages. Okay, that has been constitutionally accepted. Okay, so uh, can we impose a particular language state do? No. Why not? Because when language dies, okay, um, it it also finishes off many of the ideas and many of the knowledges. Okay, and in case of India, India being a diverse society, it is very language is very close to the heart of the people. Okay, simply we cannot impose a particular language upon other. Okay, so considering this, we have also India has also um, adapted up a multilingualistic states. Okay, um, so the rule of other um, rule other communities such as tribal contributions, tribal constitution, tribal people's contribution to national movement. Okay, in many cases, uh, you know, the contribution, how contribution of tribal people are often overlooked. Okay, uh, um, uh, few people know about the contribution of Birsa Munda or um, or the Sitaramaya, um, Alori Sitarama Rajarian, and the etc. Santal rebellion, which are, though these are local events. Okay, um, over a prolonged period, it continue throughout India. Okay, first thing, it was fought by the tribal communities to protect their livelihood and protect their community interest. And secondly, by late 19th century, okay, many of the tribal communities, tribal leader, they came into prominence and they fought against the colonial forces. Okay, and their contribution uh, are mostly overlooked by the historian, and they focus on only the mainstream leaders. Okay, so overall, these are the diverseness of our polity, and um, be it um, religious diversity, cultural diversity, ethnic diversity, linguistic diversity, or the diverse response of the national leader towards the communities. Okay, so moving forward, let's discuss how the nationalist leader, notable nationalist leader, how they address the concern of this diverseness of India. Okay. Uh, excuse me. For, for the take take the example of Gandhi. Okay. Considering we have a fragmented society, and without unity, without communal unity, we cannot achieve the independence. Okay, we cannot fought against the colonial master, having this all sort of facilities with them to trample down the national movement against the Britishers. Okay, so without popular people support, if a national movement cannot be fought. Okay, under this understanding, Gandhi tried to bring together all the people or general masses into one fold. Okay, and that is why that is why he adopted some of the policies to bring all together. Okay, and the most important idea, idea that that touch upon the mind and heart of everybody in India is the um, concept of non-violence. Okay, non-violence. It was mostly accepted by the people, and resultantly this gave independence to India. The next is that considering we have a diverse religious group, and religion based division in society. Nehru tried to bridge the gap between the communities, and this his idea of secularism and modernism and modernity has huge contribution, cementing cementing the bond among the diverse 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 society of the Indian. So other nationalist, nationalist uh, uh, such as Tilak and some of the other you know while they are strongly in favor of uh, protecting their own religious unity, such as Tilak. Okay, Tilak, who was a strong votary of promoting the Hindu identity. Okay, the introduction of uh, Ganesh festival, the glorification of Shivaji, etc., are um, some of the example through which he wanted to consolidate the Hindu community. Okay. Um, on the other hand, the assertion of communal identity, Muslim identity by Jinnah, on the other hand, okay, they are trying to uh, bring together their respective communities to protect their interest. Okay, the that was though diverse interest, they are not that much helpful to uh, Indian interest. Okay, the other notable nationalist um, uh, 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 is Abul Kalam, uh, Abul Kalam Azad. Okay, Abul Kalam Azad. He was a strong follower of Gandhian principle of non-violence and um, the strong supporter of Hindu-Muslim unity. Okay, which is essential. He realized, okay, only partisan cannot solve the mistrust or solve solve the problem, political problem that country was facing during that time. Okay, because um, unless we bridge the gap, uh, bridge the understanding among the communities, diverse communities, and unless we establish good social capital amongst the communities, we cannot have a successful India ahead. So, under this consideration, he strongly supported the idea of undivided India and Hindu-Muslim unity. However, many of the leaders they choose the different direction and they follow the other. You know, they didn't give heed to his ideas. Okay, resultantly, India was bifurcated on the basis of religion. Okay, the follower of Islam under the leadership of Muhammad Jena, they they got Pakistan, and the rest other who wanted to live together, they got the India. Okay, that is how um, the this politics that came about in India, and the many of the next okay, next moving to okay. So these are the um, these are the thing that unit 3 covered covered, and next moving to unit 4, state in the constitutional scheme. Okay. Mm, uh, okay. In order to discuss the position of state, in the in the in the Union of India. Uh, uh, First thing is that we see it is clearly demarcated in the Constitution of India, but prior to prior to that prior to that the dual two set of government, uh, you know, it has historical background such as uh, the Indian um, prior to India got independence, Government of India Act 1936, okay, which gave two set of government. Okay, uh, even then there were two set of government existed. Okay, so being as we borrowed the framework of the constitution, structure of the Indian constitution mostly borrowed from the Government of India Act 1936. Okay, we kept those aspects. Okay, intact in our constitution. Okay, and in order to give give representation to uh, give representation to the state and to address their concern, mm, uh, address their issues at their um, immediate at their level. Okay, we have a two set of government. Okay, the state government. This state government, which is uh, led by the uh, chief minister, and the union government, which is led by the prime minister. Okay. And you know, though constitutionally it has been divided, power and position of the state government and the union government have been divided. Uh, Still, in extraordinary situations, okay, in extraordinary situation, uh, union government or the central government can have major say uh, um, in the legislation of the state. Okay, or in, the constitutional provision of such as emergency provision, the state emergency or this national emergency, or in case of financial emergency, in during those period, state can union can overrule the authority of the state government, or um, suspend the state government. Okay, as you know, now we are having a pandemic. Okay, um, in order to monitor the situation, or in order to control this kind of pandemic, uh, we have a National Disaster Management Act is under operation, under which union government directs the state government to abide by this specific rule that has been uh, drafted by the central government. Okay, so that we can have control over this pandemic. Okay, so this is a this is a this uh, under this abnormal situation, so center has greater say. Okay, um, then I discuss the governor's roles. Governor's roles. Okay, governor office. Okay, is a many of the political scientists, they claim it's an appendix. Okay, it has no relevance at all, because sometimes it is termed as a retirement home for the politician, and unnecessarily it create trouble for the government, state government. Okay, and under the parliamentary form of democracy, in order to make a law into make a legislation into a law, it is mandatory to get get approval of the um, mm, president in case of central government, union or parliament. But in case of state legislation, it has to be approved by the governor. Okay, and if government if govern in many cases, governor can withhold his action to the legislation, okay, for the consideration of the president. Okay, so this process are sometimes considered unnecessary intervention of the um, central government indirectly through governor office. Okay, which create tension, and particularly in the uh, 19 1960s period. uh, okay, and many political tussle came about when the state government were run by some of the regional parties, or and the center. um, and the central government is ruled by some other political parties. Okay, because of this political ideological mismatch. Okay, and the you know the governor is appointed by the central government. Okay, as central government directs, the governor act accordingly, and in many cases governor also goes against the interest or the goes against the wishes of the state government. Okay, this create political tussle between the state legislature or the state cabinet and uh, this union's representative, that is the governor. Okay, so these are the thing um, that need to be discussed and further. And the other thing is that the administrative relations. Okay, um, you know, um, the administrative relation between state and center has been divided into three parts. Okay, that is union list and state list and concurrent list. Okay, union list, the item mentioned in union list are under the exclusive purview of the union government, under which union government can make law and which is binding on the states. Okay, uh, but on the other hand, the item mentioned in the state list are under the purview of the state legislature, on which state legislature can make law. But the thing is that in any case, the legislation made by the state legislature cannot overrule or cannot go against the law made by the parliament. And particularly in and on the third list, that is called the concurrent list. Okay, concurrent list. The subject mentioned under the concurrent list has in that area both center and state can have say simultaneously. Take example, the example of education. Okay, education come under the concurrent list. Okay, on which both state government and central government have a greater say. Okay, collective say in the sense. Okay, as you know, the exam are not going on, and the students are tense. What would be happening? What would happen to their career? And so many issues you people are having in your life. Okay, when exam would be conducted and when a result would be come out, etc., etc. And here in this case, okay, um, state government cannot do single-handedly. Okay, state government cannot um, um, decide the fate of the student or the mode of examination that would be conducted. Okay, in order to complete the academic process of the students. Okay, uh, in state government or sometimes oppose the proposition of the UGC to have examination for the final year students. Okay, and the state government, many of the state government or many of the stakeholder, they oppose to the idea of having examination because of the uh, threat of this COVID or coronaviruses. Okay, so these are the things that the state and the central government, they operate, okay, according to the subject listed under um, specific administrative um, authority. The financial status of the state. Okay. You know, in order to in order to meet the demand of development work, okay, revenue is essential, and uh, in order to meet the revenue demand, most of the states that depend on unions contribution, central government allocations. Okay, and the other thing is that in order to incur revenue, okay, the taxation, okay, taxation is the way through which a government generate income. Okay, in many cases, about the goods and service tax GST. Okay, and major chunk of its revenue that generated through taxation goes to centers fold. Okay, and later on center distributes it to the states. Okay, uh, so that is how the major financial power of the center having major financial say. um it also indirectly um, indirectly establish control over the state administration. Okay, and um, in case of in case of revenue deficit or mismatch in revenue generation and its expenditure, okay, union government has the state government to act in a specific ways. Okay, these are these are the some of the financial relations between the state and the union. The the tension area of tension between the union and relation and interstate relations, politics and state rights, etc. And the next class we would be discussing all those things. Um, and with that, I'm going to uh, uh, complete this presentation, and I look forward to see you all once again tomorrow at the same time, and we may have a fruitful discussion over this topic. Thank you all.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, it is now on doubt clearing session. So students can ask you any question if they have.
Welcome, sir. Any doubt, any question, that is welcome. Student may have any question, they can ask their please feel free to ask those questions if you have any.
They can write in chat box or they can uh, put your question directly. So it's open to them.
Sure, sir. In chat box.
Students, if you have any question, you can write in chat box or you can ask question directly by unmuting your mic. You may ask in English, in Hindi or in Odia. You are allowed.
Okay. So, since there's no question,
No question, I think.
yes, sir.
Okay, if you don't have question, now we can wind up the sessions.
Okay, so I have to leave now, sir. Okay.
This is the and bye bye.